Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the End of the World podcast for the date. Well, it's the end of the fucking world. What do you want?
You're all gonna fucking die.
And so are we. But hey, I guess that's a positive, meaning that after this one, you'll never have to hear from us again.
This is the last podcast you're ever gonna hear. Which is kind of sad when you think about it. It's like getting a grilled cheese from McDonald's for your last meal.
A McDonald's grilled cheese? What?
I know, they don't even do that.
No. But anyway.
Wait, they do?
No. Dunkin' Donuts does, I know that much. I've had it before. It's pretty good, actually.
Well, I was thinking a terrible restaurant that sells food, but doesn't sell a particular type of food. Grilled cheese sandwiches, not that great, depending on what cheese you get.
Heck, isn't it Hardee's that sells hot dogs? Something like that. But anyways, moving right along here, I'm the host of this show, The Actual Gamer, and over there is my still mental partner, Wind.
I got food in my mouth.
Yeah, that's real appealing. Aye. So.
And professional.
Moving on to the first topic I wanted to get to on this, something I've tried to talk to you about, but you refuse to answer me, in regards to the news that apparently for the new Star Wars movie, the original cast members, Luke, Han, and Leia, are willing to reprise their roles. I think the surprising news on that one is Harrison wanting to reprise Han.
That must have been one big-ass check.
Yeah. Either that or he just really needs the money.
I don't know. What was all that? I think he's been in more movies than the other two. But then again, the other two have been doing other things as well.
Yeah, crap, I can't remember the actress's name.
Carrie Fisher?
Yeah, Carrie Fisher. That's what I was thinking, but I didn't want to say it till I knew for sure, you know?
Sure.
But, well, obviously, Mark Hamill's made it big. I mean, he's a big voice actor these days.
He is the fucking Joker. How...
You can't get much bigger than Batman's most iconic villain ever.
He is the Joker.
What has Carrie Fisher done since Star Wars? I've not really looked into her career.
Fanboys?
Fanboys, that sounds familiar. Didn't you tell me about that a while back?
Yeah, it's a pretty funny movie. It takes place... it's a bunch of guys going over to Skywalker Ranch to sneak in and see episode 1 before anybody else. Well, no, it was before their friend dies of cancer.
So, in even bigger news, The Hobbit is finally out.
Yes, it is.
And
did you see it?
No, I've not. I've unfortunately not had a chance to.
I say go see it whenever you can. Like, if it goes to a dollar theater, go see it. It's pretty good.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I went to go see it with family who was visiting for the weekend. For me and one of my siblings, it's sort of headache-inducing. So if you get nauseous or, get headaches really easily at the theater, I would suggest go sitting in the back row because there are a lot of sweeping shots in the middle of battle. So
well, that's because they decided with The Hobbit to try a new technology that brings movies at 48 FPS, essentially. So being a gamer, you should have been able to handle that, honestly.
I think the screen is just too freaking big for me. The screen I got now, which I think is 36-inch. I think that's good enough for me.
Your computer monitor or actual TV?
Well, my actual TV is my computer monitor.
Oh. Well, that answers it, because I don't have a big fancy TV. I've got an old piece of shit just sitting in my room because I rarely, if ever, watch TV. But my monitor, my actual computer monitor, is only like 21 inches. But still, it's pretty big for what it is, I mean, it's not the biggest out there, but it serves the purpose of what I need it to do.
Exactly.
I mean, don't get me wrong, when I can finally get a new job and everything and save up the money, I do plan on building my new computer, because I finally went through and figured out about how much roughly it would cost. And after I build the new computer sometime down the road, I do plan on getting a bigger monitor to go with it, and then setting my current monitor off and doing a dual monitor setup with it.
Yeah. Dual monitor system's great. You can watch porn while you're watching porn.
Porn from both sides, directly in front of you and right beside you.
The promised land.
It's mind-boggling, isn't it?
Let's see, we were talking about Star Wars, and we went into porn.
And computers.
Let's see, Twi'lek. Porn.
They do have tentacles on their heads.
Well, yeah, you know what? Let's go watch something that everybody wants to watch. Wookiee porn.
Find some Twi'lek porn, send it to Jesse.
No means no, but could mean anything.
Oh, boy. The frightening thing is the females are as hairy as the males.
And let's see, we've gone to negative listeners now.
We were there back on the first episode. No ands, ifs, or buts about that one. So, in other news, I came into a new game today.
Is that so?
Yeah, Hotline Miami.
And how is that?
I've not played it yet.
Really?
I've been messing around with Skyrim mostly. But, yeah.
Playing your Dovahkiin.
Yep. But let's see here. I actually won it from a contest WoW parody artist is doing on Twitter, which is how I came into it.
So what, you just said...
Basically, all you have to do is, on Twitter, you have to tweet at her name and use a particular hashtag, which she goes by Nananea. And the hashtag was... What was the hashtag? I can't remember.
Something. Well, if you guys have a
Nana
Twitter...
Claus, that was it. Nana Claus.
Nana Claus.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think I'm coming down with something.
And Nananea WoW is who you want to tweet at with the hashtag Nana Claus in order to enter the contest. And she's doing it, I think, she said until the 25th. And she picks 3 winners each day, which you won't know if you won until the following day, obviously.
Yep. So if you guys want to win a free copy of Miami...
Well, it's not just that. It's randomly picked, generated, as it were. She said she uses a generator to pick the actual gift.
Well, it's a chance to win a free game. So if you want to, and you have a Twitter account... If you have a Twit account...
You twits.
Fucking twits. With the tweeting and the fucking little bird.
Hashtag fuck the bird.
That depends. What type of bird is this? If it's a condor or an eagle, yeah, it might be easier. Smaller birds, I'm not too sure. Don't think I'm gonna fit that well.
But yeah, that reminds me, how much of Jesse's Final Fantasy live stream did you end up ultimately watching?
Not a lot. Family was over, so...
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Let's see here. It ran for roughly 29 to 30 hours, something like that, and I think out of it I missed 5 to 6 total.
There was something about suplexing a train.
Yes, the iconic suplexing of the Doom Train by Sabin. Such a classic moment.
Well, if they decide to do put out the entire thing on YouTube or Twitch TV, I think they were playing it on.
Yeah, you can probably go find it in their video backlog on Twitch since it automatically records on Twitch.
All right, I'll have to do that.
But yeah, that was an amazing live stream. Even though it's funny, it was supposed to be Jesse's live stream, but for the most part, the completionist played the majority of the game.
Give it to the professional.
Pretty much. Oh, it was even funnier because they had to pick a particular team to go with it to try and complete their speed run with it, you know?
Yeah.
And so they didn't level all the characters, but the problem is at the very end of the game, you have to divide all of your characters into 3 separate teams, all 3 of which are important and you have to use to move on. Yeah.
Whoops.
Surprisingly, they actually got around it.
Now, how many times do they have to split up their team? Just once? Just that one time at the end?
Well, it really depends because when you get to the destroyed world, I can't remember the name of it now, and I should. World of Ruin, that's it. You start out entirely alone with one of the characters, and you have to go through and recollect your entire team.
Okay.
So basically, there's a good chance if you didn't level particular characters, you're going to have a pretty weak team starting out in World of Ruin. And that's not good.
You just gotta get lucky.
Because throughout the game, your team splits into various parties on several different occasions for different reasons. So that game, it's actually a good idea to want to keep a majority of your party members leveled.
Definitely.
So, but yeah, Final Fantasy VI was always a great game. Had a great story. Was visually beautiful for what it was at the time during the 16-bit era.
Myself, I've never had a Super Nintendo, so I never got to play any of those games.
They relaunched it for the original PlayStation. A long ass time ago.
Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah.
I have a collection. It is Chrono Trigger and one of the Final Fantasy ones.
Fantasy VI.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Because, or wait, was it? I'm pretty sure Chronicles came with 6.
Hold on. I can find out. It's just right here. It is Final Fantasy 4, actually.
Okay, yeah, so I was wrong. Anthology was the one that had 6, because it came with 5 and 6.
Yeah. Only 4.
What I want to get is a PSP. Launched Final Fantasy IV yet again for it, called Final Fantasy IV: The Complete Collection, and what it does is it bundles together a remake of Final Fantasy IV with updated graphics, you know, and adds to it its sequel game, The After Years, that takes place 18 years after the original.
Okay.
And I want to check that out. I'd love to play a remake of 4 because 4 was a good game, and I want to see the after story of what took place after 4. Because you got to think about it. Your original characters are going to be pretty damn old at that point.
Yeah.
So it just sounds like an amazing game, honestly.
Oh, I have only finished one JRPG in my life.
Oh.
Every others I've started, maybe got halfway, and then kind of just quit.
RPG is my favorite genre of game, period. I've completed a ton of them.
I have done other RPGs and finished those, but it's the JRPG that just seems to slow me down a bit.
I mean,
I don't know why.
I've completed most of the Final Fantasies out there, with the exception of like several side titles and Final Fantasy 3, but that's because it just only several years ago got ported over here to America finally. So I've just never had a chance to play it. But like Chrono Trigger, I've never completed 1 or 2 because the Dawn of Souls, when they finally launched it over here in America as the actual Final Fantasy 1 and 2, I don't know why, but I just could not get into them. But I want to go back through and give them another try to complete them, add them to my list. But beyond that, I've completed 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12.
Skipping 11 then, are we?
I tried to play 11, but I don't know. I didn't like the style of it. I guess you could say WoW ruined it for me.
Yeah, WoW does that.
And, well, Final Fantasy XIV, I never even got the chance to play. Because was it on one of the last podcasts, or was this something totally off screen with my best friend that I was talking to this about in regards to, hell, I didn't even know 14 had even released until I got curious about its actual release and went and looked it up and saw that it had actually released and it had done so terrible that they were about to shut it down and relaunch it.
This wasn't on the last podcast, so
Okay.
yeah, this was outside the podcast. Yeah, so
Didn't even know Final Fantasy XIV had even released until a long time after it had released, apparently.
And they had to re-release it because it sucked.
Yeah, you know your game did pretty shitty when you have to issue at least 2 public apologies and bring the game up and restart it from scratch, basically. Never a good thing, like, at all.
Unless you're trying to make the worst game ever. But this is not the producers. You're not going to make a lot of money off of something terrible.
Yeah, and this is Final Fantasy. If you're not going to handle it right, don't handle it at all. So they've got a lot of hurdles to overcome now in regards to the relaunch of Final Fantasy XIV. Because the past couple of Final Fantasies haven't been all that great in the eyes of the people, and now they've also got the shadow of the original 14 looming over them.
Definitely.
So a lot of people are going to be extremely critical when it launches. I don't know, depending. If they free trial it at any point, I might give it a go, see what it's like, but I don't know, I don't have that great a hope for it.
Yeah, it'll probably... Is it free to play?
Final Fantasy XIV, I don't think so. I know 11 wasn't, I don't know if it is now or not. Okay, so absolutely no time has passed for any of you, but we had a brief power outage, so that explains the cut that's occurring right here. Now, going back to what we were trying to say, ignoring all of that, Final Fantasy and free-to-play 14, I'm not sure if it was. Final Fantasy 11, it wasn't when I tried it the last time, not sure if it is now. And in normal partner, in the time that the power outage occurred, Steam started its holiday sale.
I am distracted at the moment. Steam holiday sale. Squee. Yay. And other such things.
Holiday sales are indeed awesome. What do they have going on right now anyways? Let's see here.
Not much, unfortunately.
The Borderlands franchise is 50 to 70% off, 75% off. Let's see what they dropped Borderlands 2 down to.
Probably just 50% off. Let's see. Gotta find it first.
It might not even be in here.
Borderlands 2 is $30.
That's not bad. 4-pack of it for
Well, we don't need a 4-pack. Are you gone again?
No, I'm here.
Okay, stop being quiet.
Sorry, I muted myself so I didn't make disgusting noises on air.
I see. Well, the listeners like those disgusting noises. Cough, cough, gasp, vomit.
So $30 for Borderlands 2, that's not too bad at all.
Yeah.
Arkham City is 75% off. I'd love to pick that up, and as well as Arkham Asylum.
Ooh, I need to look at my wish list. What went free to, or not what went for free? Nothing. Damn.
Yeah, you would love probably for it to go, for a lot of the shit on your wish list to go free. Ooh, that's a pretty good deal. Arkham Asylum Game of the Year Edition, $5.
Yeah.
Might have to look into getting that then.
Ooh,
and Arkham City Game of the Year Edition is only just under $8. Anyway, we're distracted by the Steam sale, so.
Damn it.
And besides, I don't even know what we're doing here. You got to remember, tomorrow's the end of the world. It's not like we'll have a chance to play anything.
Spend all your money now on video games and try to play as much as you can. Green. Now check Green Man Gaming for our listeners.
Yeah, bang your keyboard harder there.
Is that good enough?
No! Louder!
Let's see, where's... I don't have a hammer. I'll have to get my axe. Hold on.
Axe it up.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Google.
I'd have to say, I'd prefer a sledgehammer over an axe.
Well, sledgehammer is safer to carry. An axe, though more fun, not very safe to carry around. It's not like you have a sheath for it, like a sword.
Unless you get a cloth or leather, like, axe. I've seen them. I can't remember what they're called. But it's like a leather thing that you can put over the blade of the axe.
Yeah.
Don't remember for the life of me what that's called. I guess you could call it a sheath of sorts.
Well, Dishonored is $44.99 on both Steam and Green Man Gaming. Green Man Gaming does have coupon codes, so you can add, I think, usually an extra 15% off. On some games, not all games though.
I still want to see Final Fantasy games come to Steam.
Yeah. Haven't they done that before?
What, Final Fantasy?
Yeah, on Steam.
I don't think I've ever seen a Final Fantasy game on Steam. Well, outside of like 11, I think 11's on there, but I don't mean 11. I mean the legit good ones. Pour over like the PSP versions, the anniversary editions of like 1 and 2 and 3 and the remakes of 4 and so on.
Yeah. I would have expected the newer games to be out on Steam, but I guess I am wrong in that.
It would be nice to see like Final Fantasy 13 come to Steam because, yeah, I mean, I had a PS3 for a short bit and I played a little bit of it, and the game's not that great, and I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but it's still a principal matter to me, the fact that I started it and it's a Final Fantasy 13 game, so I have to at least finish it, you know?
Yeah.
It's just one of those things for me. I don't know why.
I don't know why, but I can't buy a damn thing on Green Man Gaming.
Nothing good, or...
No, it won't. Yeah, I want to see what the discount is with the coupon code. And, I go to buy now, and it's like, nope, nothing in your basket. Maybe it's just me.
It's too bad we don't have that many viewers on here, because then we could, like, drop hints at what we want, and the fans could donate them to us. But unfortunately, we don't have that kind of backing power.
Or you could just say, my Steam name is, and then they could go to your wish list.
Yeah, I'm not a good one to give my Steam name to the public.
Meh.
I don't know why. I don't know. That might not be a good idea.
All right, I'll give it out for you. Wait a minute. This says it's Jesse Cox. That's a lie. Okay. Well, since we don't have to talk about the stuff that we thought we didn't have, let's see. What can we talk about?
Oh, I know. Let's do our weekly Yahoo perusing. See what's going on in the news today. I freaking blame Cox and Crendor in the morning for this, because Yahoo has such interesting stories.
Yeah.
Like, hey, is that an elephant in your garage?
Really?
Let's see here. Got a garage full of valuables guarded by a weak little padlock. Maybe it's time to upgrade to a tank. If you can't afford to plunk a Panzer in your driveway, however, the folks at Style Your Garage have the next best thing in these ultra-realistic garage door billboards created by Thomas Sassenbach. The doors are a fine example of some French word that means deceive the eye art technique, which uses realistic 2D images to create a 3D optical illusion effect, and they're wicked cool. Oh, okay, so it was just a 3D looking picture of an elephant on the door. I thought there was an actual fucking elephant in there.
I don't see that on Yahoo News. Whatever. Anyway. Ooh, newly detected planet could host life. A star near our solar system might host 5 planets, including a potential water world.
Too bad we'll be gone as of tomorrow, huh?
No.
And can't really explore more into that. Let's see here.
Huh. Apparently the bully in A Christmas Story is suing over the movie because he hasn't gotten royalties from it that he says he's owed.
Oh my.
Aye. Problem is, though, let's scroll down. Damn it, scroll down!
It doesn't wanna.
Zach Ward is the actor's name. Problem is, though, it's like movies that involve kids, usually the kids get screwed over.
Yeah, usually.
Either by the parents or by the fucking agents or who, usually kids are getting screwed just because they don't know any better, which is bullshit.
So, moving on from Yahoo News, speaking of news, have you heard the story about freaking the Westboro Baptist Church wanting to picket freaking the memorial ceremony for the shooting victims of the school? What was the name of the school where all those little kids got shot?
I know what you mean. Is this group that's run by a lawyer just so like someone will come up and punch one of them in the face and then they can sue that person?
They're the ones that are like outspoken hardcore against like gay people.
Is this the group that's been picketing the funerals of soldiers who died overseas?
Yeah, Sandy Hook Elementary, that's it.
God. Fucking people. Yeah, this is why I don't go outside anymore.
Yeah,
Fucking
I know,
people.
Right.
This is why I'm a hermit, damn it.
If it's true or not, by the way, apparently Anonymous hacked their main website.
Oh, good. At least they're doing something useful and not hacking Sony just because. Of course, now anybody and their mother can hack Sony, apparently.
Oh, yeah. Anonymous targets Westboro Baptist Church after Newton Vigil protest threat.
It's like, why would you do that?
I mean, why would they want to picket this memorial for? I mean, a bunch of little kids and I think a teacher or two were killed in that. I mean, I'm a father of a 7-year-old, you know? Just...
I don't have children, so I can't tell you guys.
I mean, seriously, what the fuck? What if it had been their children, if they have any, that had been killed?
Oh, let's see. They'd still be kind of fucked up. Maybe they'd be conflicted. And their heads would explode from all thinking.
Knowing them, the SWAT 4 mission that you see in Spoonie's SWAT 4 playthrough, the mass child graveyard, that's probably what those fucknuts would do.
Well, that would be them killing their own children. Because that was like a fuck, what's it called? A ceremonial suicide thing. I'm not...
Yeah, right here. Apparently Anonymous put this on their website. This domain has been seized by Anonymous under section number 14 of the rules of the internet. Greetings, Westboro Baptist Church. If you're reading this, it means that Anonymous has lost its patience with you, likely because you've threatened us again after we denied you a war. Your recent antics to gain media attention for yourself were found to be laughable. In response to your rather poorly written Bring It letter, wherein you tried to goad Anonymous into giving you yet more attention by calling us crybaby hackers, we wrote, sincerely, a press release explaining clearly the hoax behind the initial declaration of war against your church. We had thought this latest release would be enough to make you realize that we have no interest in going to war with you. Anonymous is hard at work with ongoing operations such as those involving Bahrain, Libya, and Iran. Not to mention, we are working tirelessly to maintain coverage of all of our HB Gary leaks for the public to enjoy. Your continued biting of the Anonymous hand, however, has earned you a swift and emotionless bitch slap in the form of this very message. Despite having the capability to hack your sites previously, we chose not to and instead responded maturely to your threats, but you have not respected this. For this unremitting display of overzealousness, we award you no points. Take this defacement as a simple warning. Go away. The world, including Anonymous, disagrees with your hateful messages, but you have the right to voice them. This does not mean you can jump onto Anonymous for attention. God hates fags? Assumption. Anonymous hates leeches? Fact.
Oh, God. There was another time where they were picketing, I think it was Comic-Con, with the God hates fag signs and whatnot, and then like a bunch of cosplayers come out with their own signs, and they're picketing across the street from them with with signs like someone dressed as Bender that says God hates humans. There was a bunch of good ones. I can't remember them though.
Oh, that's funny.
Piss off the nerds. They'll probably do something funny at you to mock you.
Let's see here.
Mock the nerds, they'll mock you back, and they'll be better at it.
Yeah. When you go up against nerds, most of the time you're going up against a generation at this point being raised on trolling from the internet. You're not going to fare well against them. Like, at all.
You just gotta believe. Gotta believe. So, great, now I got the fucking song stuck in my head. Damn it!
That reminds me, there's an interesting looking game out that I want you to look into. It's called Hawken.
Oh, God. I keep wanting to look at that, but I keep forgetting about it.
I downloaded and installed it earlier this morning myself. I mean, it's a freaking mech piloting game. Mech piloting games are usually fun. I love the mech piloting genre.
Oh.
I mean, I've been a fan of the Armored Core franchise since the first game. Going back to our earlier discussion in regards to RPGs, an RPG that I absolutely loved, made by Square Enix, Squaresoft back then, created a game called Xenogears.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I loved the hell out of that game. Story was a bit convoluted at times, especially in Disc 2, but...
But they had, like, their cinematics for, like, anime scenes, which was, like, back then, holy shit, this is awesome!
Which is one of the reasons I loved the relaunch of Chrono Trigger on the PlayStation, the one that you have, because they also included A and B sequences in it. And, even better, the artist of them was Akira Toriyama, who was the character designer for Chrono Trigger, which is why, if you look, you'll notice a lot of similarities between characters in Chrono Trigger, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Quest?
Yeah, Dragon Quest.
I think was another game that he was the character designer for.
He's popular. He is one of the popular ones. Also, I'm on, I put it in the search box, and Hawkins School.
That doesn't do you any good.
They're in Ohio. Cleveland, Ohio. Founded in 1915. But I'm assuming it's playhawken.com, right?
What?
What's the website name?
Here, I'll just link it to you. I've got it pulled up.
Fine.
I'm not.
Yeah, playhawken.com. Yeah,
I don't know if it's under NDA or not in open beta, so we can't really discuss it outside of the fact that I'm getting you to download it or not.
Let's see.
But it looks like it's going to be a pretty fun game if they do it right.
We can go to game info. Maybe that'll... I can look for a Q&A. But, yeah, I did look up the Q&A on Smite, and we are not under NDA, so we could talk about that game if we wanted to.
Well, you could. I've still yet to play it.
I know. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Skyrim, I've told you this.
It makes the child in me happy. Because when I was a kid, I loved searching for ancient lore, from the, like Greek gods, the whole...
The Greek pantheon.
The Greek pantheon, the Nordic gods, everything. That was what I liked doing as a kid, was looking that stuff up. Because it was awesome.
That reminds me, there's this show that I like to watch called Supernatural.
I've heard of it, I think. It sounds familiar.
It's an interesting show because basically it deals with supernatural things, like ghosts, demons, angels, and the like. But on a random occasion, they'll actually bring, various gods into it and bring some god lore into it. And not long ago, in one of the earlier episodes of this newest season, they actually had Thor's hammer in it, the Mjolnir. It was hilarious.
Oh, boy.
But that's a great television show. If you've never heard of it or never seen it, give it a check it out. It's worth at least giving it a try. Do a bit of shameless plugging, as usual.
Maybe we should shamelessly plug something that pays us.
We need to start making phone calls. Hey, we're a couple of nobody podcasters getting started on the internet, and
we're ready to whore ourselves out.
Yes, and we wanted to discuss a deal with you in regards to possible paid promotion for your stuff on our program. Imagine the hate we would get for that, though.
We'd have to be popular first.
That's true, too. But hey, you're allowed to be hated when you're getting paid to be hated. At this rate, if this podcast ever goes anywhere and everything, I'm going to be honestly amazed. Because let's see here, we've constantly offended 99.9% of our audience and probably scared them all away.
So we probably only have one person left listening.
But hey, if we can get that
Actually,
one
we
person,
only have...
But if we can get that one person at least to check something out, we'll have done a good deed at least. A great justice. That's what I was originally aiming for there.
Though thinking about it, we probably don't even have 100 listeners, so we probably only have a fraction of a listener left then.
We got half an ear listening to us.
That poor, poor fraction.
That poor, poor ear being stuck beside a headset with us on repeat for eternity. That is its personal hell.
Oh, you know what we could do? We could talk about all the different ways the world could end.
So, one of the more popular theories is... What the hell did you do?
Now that I think about it, I could probably type that in. Theories of how the world ends. But yeah, go ahead with what you were saying.
Allegedly, there was supposed to be a planet that was going to crash into us tomorrow, known as Nibiru.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that one?
Vaguely.
Here's the Nibiru cataclysm is a supposed disastrous encounter between the Earth and a large planetary object, either a collision or a near miss, which certain groups believe will take place in the early 21st century. Believers in the Doomsday event usually refer to this object as Planet X or Nibiru. The idea that a planet-sized object could collide with or pass by Earth in the near future is not supported by any scientific evidence and has been rejected as pseudoscience by astronomers and planetary scientists.
Yeah, because we can pretty much see an asteroid pretty much coming a light year away. We got the telescopes. If there was a planet out there that would collide with us, we would have known about it
long ago.
Before anybody even heard about the 2012 Mayan apocalypse.
But no, it gets even better. The idea was first put forward in 1995 by Nancy Leader, founder of the website Zeta Talk. Leader describes herself as a contactee with the ability to receive messages from extraterrestrials from the Zeta Reticuli star system through an implant in her brain. She states that she was chosen to warn mankind that the object would sweep through the inner solar system in May 2003, though the date was later abandoned, causing Earth to undergo a pole shift that would destroy most of humanity. The prediction has subsequently spread beyond Leader's website and has been embraced by numerous internet doomsday groups, most of which link the event to the 2012 phenomenon. Although the name Nibiru is derived from the works of the late ancient astronaut writer Zacharias Sitchin and his interpretations of Babylonian and Sumerian mythology, Sitchin denied any connection between his work and various claims of a coming apocalypse.
Oh, boy. I weep for the human race at times.
Yeah. Doomsday theories.
So, unless this planet-sized planet is actually the Death Star, I don't see this happening.
Yeah.
I can imagine the Death Star coming in out of hyperspace and then blowing us up.
So, let's see. I've got a couple of doomsday theories here.
Yeah, I found a top 10 list. And that was number 1.
What, the Nibiru theory?
Yeah, Planet X collides with our planet.
Let's see here. One of the ones I've got here is called geomagnetic reversal. Another idea tied to 2012 involves a geomagnetic reversal, often incorrectly referred to as a pole shift by proponents, possibly triggered by a massive solar flare that would release an energy equal to 100 billion atomic bombs. This belief is supposedly supported by observations that the Earth's magnetic field is weakening, which could precede a reversal of the north and south magnetic poles and the arrival of the next solar maximum, which is expected sometime around 2012. Most scientific estimates, however, say that geomatic reversals take between 1,000 and 10,000 years to complete and do not start on any particular day. Furthermore, the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration now predicts that the solar maximum will peak in May 2013, not 2012, and that it will be fairly weak with a below-average number of sunspots. In any case, there is no scientific evidence linking the solar maximum to a geomagnetic reversal, which is driven by forces entirely within the Earth. Instead, a solar maximum would be most notable for its effects on satellite and cellular phone communications. David Morrison attributes the rise of the solar storm idea to physicist and science popularizer Michio Kaku, who claimed in an interview with Fox News, because that's a real great source of media there.
Yeah, they're not full of shit at all.
That a solar peak in 2012 could be disastrous for orbiting satellites.
You know, I know we're on completely different websites, but that is also number 2 on my list.
Okay.
Because the website I'm on only has like a paragraph. They don't even describe what actually happens, or, maybe a counter theory, like, this is bullshit because this is actually what happens in real life. But no, I don't have that. I have like a simple paragraph that briefly describes what goes on.
Okay, now this one was always my favorite. It's called Time Wave Zero.
See, I got Supernova at number 3.
Now, here's what Time Wave Zero says, and then I want to hear your Supernova one. Time Wave Zero is a numerological formula that purports to calculate the ebb and flow of novelty, defined as increased over time in the universe's interconnectedness or organized complexity. According to Terence McKenna, the universe has a teleological attractor at the end of time that increases interconnectedness, eventually reaching a singularity of infinite complexity in 2012, at which point anything and everything imaginable will occur simultaneously.
What the We are not in Doctor Who!
He conceived this idea over several years in the early to mid-1970s while using psilocybin, mushrooms, and DMT.
Yeah, all you had to do was say the 70s. That explains it there. Everybody was on LSD, crack, and whatever else.
But yeah, I just love that line right there. Eventually reaching a singularity of infinite complexity in 2012, at which point anything and everything imaginable will occur simultaneously.
That should be number 1, because like everything that it's like Murphy's Law times 10 times infinity. Everything's going to fucking happen at once.
Okay, so let's hear the Supernova one.
Now, as I said, these are like really short paragraphs. So here we go. One popular December 21st, 2012 end of the world theory involves the death of our sun. The theory says that our Earth will be burned up when our sun goes supernova right before Christmas 2012. The cataclysmic supernova will consume our solar system and wipe out our world out from the Milky Way galaxy. And that is where it ends. It does not...
Now, question. This goes back to the whole Nibiru issue as well. You think we have technology enough to notice extreme discrepancies in how the sun's acting to be able to tell if it's dying or about to go supernova?
Exactly. And we do kind of... we don't really know this, but, we theorize that the sun will go supernova. But we'll be long gone before then.
Yeah, it'll be well beyond our lifetime before this thing novas.
hell, even if we can live, even if the species does live that long, they'll probably have packed up and left by then.
Now, this doesn't relate to 2012, but since we're talking about interesting theories, I came across one a long time ago, and I can't remember what the hell it was called. But basically, the theory is basically all the planets in our solar system is basically frozen in time, essentially. That we live in just a repeating cycle, and that each planet currently in our solar system is Earth at various points in its life.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What? That doesn't make any fucking... So, at some point, Earth was as big as Jupiter.
Yeah.
So,
Or,
we were...
technically, Jupiter is future Earth, according to this theory.
Oh, okay. Future Earth.
Yeah, like Mercury and Venus is the past, Earth is the present, and then everything after is the future of the planet.
So what you're telling me is the Time Lords and the Daleks kind of fucked up on their little time prison thing and put it on us instead. Got it. More Doctor Who references. If you keep going like this, it's just all going to be Doctor Who references. This website of yours seems to watch a lot of Doctor Who. Maybe even some Torchwood.
I wish I could find this theory. It was a YouTube video, unfortunately, and I could link it in if I could find it. As a matter of fact, if I can find it before I get this put together, I'll go on ahead and link it in at the end.
Oh, boy. If we can find it. On my list, Planet X gets another spot at number 4, where it disrupts gravity.
Oh, really, now?
So I guess it just flies by and then will not collide with us, but rather it will pass closely to our Earth, that it will just disrupt our gravity and cause massive global disasters. I would say that would only happen to one side of the planet, and the other side might be affected. But I would say it would just really fuck up one side of the planet, and the other side would be okay. Let's say half the planet's gone, the other half can still go on.
Yeah, I don't... That's if this video would even still be up. I have no idea. It's been a long-ass time ago since I read or saw this.
We're practically like cockroaches. Cockroaches and bunnies. We'll survive just about anything, and then we'll fuck a lot just to bring it all back to, what is it, 8 billion now? 4 billion?
I have no idea.
There's a lot of fucking people. That's the alignment with the center of our galaxy. Ooh, I heard of this one. So number 5, a major source, well, number 6, depending on what. Number 5 on my list. The end of the world theory is the fact that on the date our Earth and the Sun will align with the center of the Milky Way, an event that only happens once. That happens every 26,000 years.
Oh my God, I found it. It's called the Uniplanetary Evolution Theory.
Oh, and it's on YouTube, so we don't have to read. Because we're stupid.
Let's see here. Actually, I was going to see if I could find a readable version of it.
But you found the YouTube one.
Yeah, I did find the YouTube video, so I can put it in the video. As a matter of fact, I'm going to cut the video here, or the podcast here temporarily, so I can insert it right here, so you guys can listen to this.
Just, for a few minutes of this.
Yeah. Today, this will replace our featured video.
Just because it's so fucking stupid.
I mean, I know we forgot it last week, and we'll figure out a way to make up for it next week. But today, this is going to be our featured video. It's got to be. So, be right back in just a moment.
Hi guys, I'm Cloyce, the author of The Antichrist Version 666. This is my book right here. I just want to give you guys a quick description of the theory that's outlined in my book. It's based off of the Mayan prophecy that in 2012 we could be facing a doomsday. Well, if that is the case, then we should probably be working on a solution. And in this book, the Antichrist is actually the discoverer of that solution. And what we find is that right now, we as a species are looking for another place to live. We know that Earth is not going to support life much longer. Rather than try to find another planet which is not made up of the same components in which we need to exist, why not reuse the last, say, million years that we know supports life? Because we are creatures of Earth, and Earth is where we need to exist. Say that we could escape the planet and travel back in time to the beginning, right before it gets destroyed, and reuse that area in time over and over and over again. This would allow us to evolve for eternity. We'd always have a place to live. Well, in my book, the Antichrist discovers a way to do just that. And matter of fact, it's been hiding in front of our face the whole time. His theory is this, that the 8 planets in our solar system are indeed Earth, evolving in time. That Venus is actually Earth 1 billion years ago, and Mars is Earth 1 billion years in the future after it gets destroyed. Let's look at the composition of Venus. We know that it's made up of the same innards as Earth. We know that it's mostly carbon. It has similar volcanoes like the ones in Hawaii. And we know that Earth, when it was first being formed, also was mostly carbon. And it too didn't always have a moon, just like Venus. Let's look at Mars. What do we know about Mars? Well, we believe that at one time it had water, just like Earth. We believe that at some time it had an electromagnetic field, just like Earth. And we know that Earth's electromagnetic field is actually depleting right now. So that's another doom scenario that we could be facing. We also believe that Mars at one time may have had tectonic plates, just like the ones on Earth. Is it possible that Mars is Earth destroyed in the future? I believe if we take a step back and look at the gas planets, we're able to see a more progression of this uniplanetary evolution theory, that Jupiter is mostly composed of hydrogen. Now, what would happen if that hydrogen were to ignite? What would it look like? Well, let's look at the next planet in line, Saturn. We know that it has rings of debris and gases floating around it, and it appears to be a lot smaller than Jupiter. Where did the rings come from? I believe that at some point, the rings show a clear history of some type of planetary explosion of some sort. We know one thing about Saturn, that if we took a snapshot of it in the future, there would be fewer rings. It's debatable on whether or not the rings are actually dissolving into the planet or even expanding out into space. But we do know if we took a snapshot of Saturn in the future, we're going to have fewer rings. Now let's look at the next planet in line, which is Uranus. Uranus has fewer rings than Saturn, and then we look at the next planet, which is Neptune. It has even fewer rings than Uranus. So I believe that when we look at the gas planets, it's really easy to see a progression, just like A, B, C, or D, or 1, 2, 3, or 4. Jupiter being before the explosion, Saturn being after the explosion, Uranus showing progression that the rings are slowly fading away, and Neptune, where there's almost no rings at all. What if we are trapped in a bubble of time? I believe it was Dr. Kaku who stated the only energy source strong enough to bend time like a pretzel is a star. Well, our sun just happens to be a star. And what if it has done exactly that? What if we are doomed to live the same life over and over and over again? What if we've already done this before? According to the Mayans, we are in our 4th cycle, moving into our 5th as of December 21st, 2012. Could they have been warning us that we have lived this life 4 times already? Could this be an explanation to the phenomenon called deja vu? What are we going to look like if time travel was possible and we were able to evolve to our fullest potential? I believe that in our evolutionary track, more than likely the first thing we would lose is our pinky toes, maybe then our pinkies, our hair, because we live in a controlled environment, heat, air conditioning. Will we be able to unlock our brain to where we could use a higher mass of it? Would that make us telepathic, psychic, telekinetic even? By unlocking those regions of the brain that apparently scientists say that we aren't using right now, would that allow our brain mass to grow more? Would that allow our heads to actually indeed increase in size? It sounds familiar to me. I think that what I've just described is basically a gray. These gray aliens that people are experiencing all around the world. Could they be possibly not alien at all? Could they indeed be evolved forms of ourselves that are only in this existence due to the fact that someone had discovered a means of time travel? So what if we were able to escape the planet before 2012 and head to Venus, and we indeed ended up on Earth 1 billion years in its past? Well, in 2012, there's supposed to be a transit of Venus. And I believe that in 2012 would be almost perfect timing for the birth of a new Earth. Let's say Mars impacts Earth, and the debris from the impact goes out past our atmosphere and out into space. And as Venus is passing by Earth during its transit, is able to pick up some of that debris and take it with it in its gravitational pull. Wouldn't that correlate to the theories of how our moon was first brought to be? That is, I guess, the best theory that they have right now as far as the formation of the moon. And wouldn't that leftover debris from the impact create a second moon for Earth? There's a symbol in ancient, almost all ancient beliefs, the Mayans, the Egyptians, the Indians, of a Ouroboros, which is a snake swallowing its own tail. And what this symbol signifies basically is that time is secular, and by the destruction of itself, it also creates the birth of itself. So could an impact in 2012 very well be our destruction, but at the same time be the original origins of how Earth became a life inhabitable planet?
Yeah, as I said, batshit crazy.
I think it's think the guy was just writing a novel, or was explaining his novel. Then again, I wasn't really paying attention. I was whatever. You know what? The viewer will fucking decide whatever. I don't care.
But either way,
it does sound like it could be an awesome sci-fi novel, but at the same time, it sounds like it could be just really fucking stupid at the same fucking time.
Yeah. But anyway, going back to more realistic doomsday theories, and I use the term realistic very loosely.
Yeah. Ooh. Here's another one. Global warming and floods. Waterworld!
Woo! Get
Dude.
your water slides ready, kids.
You know what happened in Waterworld? Stuff!
Oh my god, this is how SpongeBob is born.
A seismic disturbance. So, in other words, the world just shakes itself to death. So it shakes us like a British nanny. Got it!
Anyway, let's see here.
A shift in the collective consciousness of humanity. What the hell? By far one of the most creative end-of-the-world theories. This theory claims that the human race has been on the verge of a shift in the collective consciousness of humanity. What this means, no one can say, but followers of the theory believe that the end of the world will come with a dramatic change in the way human mind works, and that they will bring the end of the... So it doesn't even explain shit what the fuck that means. Are you gone again?
No, I'm here.
Okay, you were really quiet.
Yeah.
Now I'm worried.
Other catastrophes. Author Graham Hancock in his book, Fingerprints of the Gods, interpreted Coe's remarks in Breaking the Maya Code as evidence for the prophecy of a global cataclysm. Filmmaker Roland Emmerich would later credit the book with inspiring his 2009 disaster film 2012. There's a mouthful for you. Other speculations regarding Doomsday in 2012 have included predictions by the WebBot Project, a computer program that purports to predict the future using internet chatter. However, commentators have rejected the programmers' claims to have successfully predicted natural disasters, which web chatter could never predict, as opposed to human-caused disasters like stock market crashes. Also, the 2012 date has been loosely tied to the long-running concept of the photon belt, which predicts a form of interaction between Earth and Alcyon, the largest star of the Pleiades cluster. Critics have argued that photons cannot form belts, that the Pleiades, located more than 400 light-years away, could have no effect on Earth, and that the solar system, rather than getting closer to Pleiades, I don't know how you say that word exactly, Pleiades, is in fact moving further away from them. Some media outlets have tried the fact that the red supergiant star Betelgeuse will undergo a supernova at some point in the future to the 2012 phenomenon. However, while Betelgeuse is finally in the final stages of its life and will die as a supernova, there is no way to predict the timing of the event to within 100,000 years. To be a threat to Earth, a supernova would need to be as close as 25 light-years to the solar system. Betelgeuse is roughly 600 light-years away, and so its supernova will not affect Earth. In December 2011, NASA's Francie Reddy issued a press release debunking the possibility of a supernova occurring in 2012. Another claim involves alien invasion.
Woo!
In December 2010, an article first published in Examiner.com and later referenced in the English language edition of Pravda claimed, citing a second digitalized sky survey photograph as evidence, that SETI had detected 3 large spacecraft due to arrive at Earth in 2012. Astronomer and debunker Phil Plait noted that by using the small angle formula, one could determine that if the object in the photo were as large as claimed, it would have to be closer to Earth than the Moon, which would mean it would have already arrived. In January 2011, Seth Shostak, chief astronomer of SETI, issued a press release debunking the claims.
Well, Speaking of Beetlejuice, though, I did hear about that's already in its death throes, but after we're long and gone, it's like billions of years later, when it does go supernova, to us, for a couple weeks, it's going to look like there's a second sun in the sky.
We'll get to see some nice flashy effects when it does go boom. Or the people that'll be alive. We obviously will never get to see.
Whatever animals are still around, they'll get a nice show.
I still have to say my favorite, though, is the time wave zero theory. Just because that's just saying that everything imaginable can and will occur simultaneously.
That one's just covering all your bases.
Pretty much.
Or tomorrow we can start in World War III and have a nuclear holocaust. Doesn't that sound fun?
Skip underground bunkers, ladies and gentlemen.
To the bunkers!
Ho!
And then number 10 on this list, I love. I think it should be number 1. But number 10 is the theorists are proven wrong. That is my favorite one.
Okay, I'm probably laughing harder at that than what I should have. That's just real. That's pretty damn funny.
Start making your shirts that say, I've survived 2012, December 21st, and all I got was this shirt.
I'm a 2012 survivor. 'Cause, yeah.
Oh. We can start talking about...
What's going to be spectacular is the amount of fucking people in this world that actually believes this shit and is going to go ape shit tomorrow.
Oh, I know.
Selling their houses, quitting their jobs.
Spending all their money on stupid shit.
Causing riots, making a huge fuss. That's what's going to cause the actual end of the world. The government purported this 2012 theory and everything, and all these nut jobs out there is going to go ape shit tomorrow. And
look, if you're going to go ape shit tomorrow, just drink the fucking Kool-Aid. That should be your first thing. Just drink the fucking Kool-Aid. Drink it and spare everybody else your stupidity.
Please, for the sake of this planet. Don't make 2012 a reality because you actually believe it.
God damn it. Fucking people.
But yeah, that's what's going to be entertaining tomorrow. I cannot wait to see some of the news articles from tomorrow.
Well, speaking of news articles, I'm going to send you something your way. So this was interesting. Here's a cataclysmic event. Whoa. The U.S. planned during the Cold War to set up a mission to blow up the moon.
Okay.
And they mean completely obliterate it. Don't cut it, break it in half, but it just gets shot out of the Earth's gravitational pull. It is gone. It can never come back, kind of thing.
So, in other words, they wanted to destroy the world in the Cold War.
Pretty much.
Because if anything happens to our moon, all things considered, what the moon does for us, we would be fucked.
Yeah, the global... Our world would change a lot. Seasons would mean nothing.
Not to mention, imagine what the oceans and everything would do.
Yeah.
Considering the moon controls the ebb and flow of our oceans and shit.
Yep.
But let's see here. Let's read a little bit of this. There's a couple of preposterous reports out today alleging that the United States considered blowing up the moon in order to freak out the Soviets during the Cold War. Apparently, something called a study of lunar research flights seriously pondered a moon bombing, and scientists as notable as Carl Sagan were even involved in planning the lunar attack, which was to take place in 1959 before cooler heads prevailed.
That is so American. If we can't win this war, then fuck you all. We're taking you down with us.
If we can't win this, we'll destroy the fucking world.
One, it is American, and two, it is evil scientist. Combine those, and you get something kind of stupid.
In other words, the best answer for this is the typical American way. Blow it up.
This is America. This is how we do shit.
Boom! Oh, don't mind us. We're just, just casual trip to blow up the fucking moon. Oh, God.
Best country in the world.
And there goes the greatest ship we could have possibly had from all other nations in the world.
Yeah, all the other English-speaking nations, which would have said fuck to us anyway. We would have loved some Aussie feedback, though.
Oh.
Oh, boy. Oh. Now, I just want to talk about other end-of-the-world scenarios that don't have anything to do with 2012. Oh, my God. Oh, have you ever heard about the Gray Death? Okay, that one is kind of awesome and kind of stupid at the same time. So it involves nanobites.
Right.
So, they're trying to develop nanotechnology, so little nano robots to, go to like an oil spill out in the ocean.
Uh-huh.
And then what these things are supposed to do is they recreate themselves with the chemicals or the atoms or whatever that they're supposed to destroy, and they turn that into themselves. Now, the idea is they do that, and then they die. But then it's like, oh, well, what if somebody, accidentally hits an extra zero? Oh, well, then they just keep multiplying, and instead of just doing instead of multiplying from the one source, they start to multiply from other sources. So they spread out and consume the world. And we can't do a thing about it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting thing I found. Top 10 overlooked doomsday scenarios.
Ooh.
Number 10, gamma ray pop. If we were to be destroyed by a gamma ray pop, two not too distant collapsed stars would emerge, explode, and begin to spew a massive amount of gamma rays, which are the most energetic form of electromagnetic radiation. The cosmogenic regurgitation is the brightest, most luminous affair in the universe, and among its most lethal. It will take about 10 seconds before this ridiculously mighty radiation broils our atmosphere, brewing nitrogen oxides that will sack the ozone layer and render us defenseless. Our own sun will then rain its brutal ultraviolet rays down upon us, causing skin cancer, wiping out the kinds of pint-sized organisms that contribute oxygen to the atmosphere, and leading to numerous eye problems ranging from photokeratitis to cataracts. On the bright side, vision is gone, but we still have taste, touch, smell, and hearing. On the dark side, strike taste. Corey Hart returns to glory with the smash hit I Wear My Grandma Ray Sunglasses at Night. Okay, number 9. Black hole debacle.
Ooh.
A black hole wanders into our cosmic arena and takes a whiff. It yanks and pulls us into an orbital path wild enough to create unendurable climactic shifts, or it drop kicks us out of our solar system completely and delivers us into an eternal winter. On the bright side, you've always wanted to take a field trip to Pluto. On the dark side, you're the only one who laughs when passing Uranus. Okay, I have to say, this is pretty funny.
So the black hole one, though, it's like we can barely see those, but even then we'll be able to see those coming before it actually gets that close to us.
Yeah. Let's see here. There's the magnetic flip-flop.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure that does a whole lot of stuff. I think that just like kind of like fucks with your day, and then that's pretty much it.
Well, it says right here, it's perfectly natural for the Earth's magnetic field to flip-flop. In fact, it's shifting all the time, and the last full switch occurred about 780,000 years ago. The average flip-flop interval is about 250,000 years, and Earth's clock is ticking, and the magnetic field's power is diminishing. In the last 100 years, its strength has decreased about 5%. Without a magnetic field, we would endure brutal particle storms from our sun as well as outer space. These storms would make short work of our ozone layer, leaving us vulnerable to a wide range of electromagnetic viciousness. Either that or whole generations of species will be unable to navigate properly. They'll get lost and won't reproduce, seriously impacting the latter of species that rely on them for food. Meanwhile, the organisms beneath it, fleas, rats, roaches, take your pick, will be a short predator. They'll multiply almost without a hitch and wander deep into urban areas desperate for food and deliver a mutant plague into all our houses.
Woo, mutant plagues are awesome, though.
On the bright side, without an ozone layer, no one can moan about saving it. On the dark side...
Haha, take that, Al Gore.
On the dark side, what part of no ozone layer didn't you understand? I'm looking...
You win this time, Al Gore.
I'm just for the on the bright side, on the dark side. Number 7, Super Flare Sunday. Magnetic energy gathers within the solar system atmosphere, and the sun expels it, raining a veritable proton storm down upon us. But our planet's magnetic field works with the atmosphere to rudely reject it all. Incensed at this rejection, the sun disgorges a super flare that is millions of times more potent than an ordinary flare. Before we can apologize for our rudeness, the subatomic particles cash out our ozone layer, and the sun's malignant UV rays put our tiny planet and every one of its organisms onto the cosmological barbecue. On the bright side, you'll have a 10 to die for. On the dark side, you'll have a 10 to die from.
Oh, boy.
What the?
And it's pretty much like flash fried. So it's like, whoosh, you're on fire. You probably aren't going to last that long, so you'll probably feel a strong sense of pain and then nothing right away.
Number 6, let's see here. Flood basalt volcano.
Huh?
That's what it says, flood basalt volcano.
Okay.
This is no ordinary volcanic eruption. A flood basalt is a monster of potentially global proportions. From deep below your feet, a so-called mental plume erupts, spewing thousands of cubic miles of rocks, ash, and lava into the atmosphere. Anxious to get on the bandwagon, volcanoes the world over begin to erupt. As a result, ash and fumes suffocate the air, block out the sun, and drastically lower global temperatures. Don't forget that the sulfuric gases will incite acid rain, and lava flows will eliminate harvests, enter mass starvation. On the bright side, lava destroys the tobacco crops, prompting the Surgeon General to remove the warning against breathing secondhand smoke. On the dark side, he replaces it with a warning against breathing. Let's see here.
So, pretty much, the sun, or not the sun, the Earth, has to has to vomit and shit all at the same time.
Pretty much. Let's see here. This one's weird. Super crops gone awry.
Super crops? What? Is this talking... Oh, God. Is this that Frankencrop bullshit?
I have no idea, but... A waitress serves you steak like you're some kind of idiot, and you rant, you call this edible nucleotide strand? I wanted my steak done... GTA capital A. There's not a single adenine subunit in this second-rate slop. And these potatoes, are you kidding me? That's a DNA sequence only my mother could love. But that's just it. Genetically altered crops will make it impossible for a mother to spot her own flesh and spud because he has been modified beyond recognition. Such super crops may develop a resistance to pesticides, allowing for the spawn of ultra pests and super bacteria. When a species becomes unbeatable, it rises to the apex of the food web, throwing ecosystems out of balance on a global scale. On the bright side, turns out super crops work better than Viagra. On the dark side, they give you the super craps.
Here's the thing about genetically altering crops. We've been doing it since we learned that we could plant crops.
Yeah.
This is what we fucking do. We've been doing this for so long, and now we have an idea of how to do it. Maybe a little more easier. Sorry, I shall use English
Okay, so
instead of this faux English.
this one is called Nanotechnology Nightmare, and they wrote
Oh yeah,
this.
that's the one I just talked to you about.
Is it? Well, this one is written in the form of a first-person diary.
Oh.
Dear Diary, my crush on nanotech so over. All he talks about is how great he is. An engineering system that constructs machines, robots, and computers at the molecular level, one atom at a time, and with the ease of a photocopier. What did he promise me? What didn't he promise me is more like it. Baby girl, I'll make human organs heterostatic, put a spaceship in every garage, and slide a supercomputer into every pocket. Heck, I'll even end world hunger. You had me at heterostatic, I gushed. I'm such an idiot. Now things are getting out of control. My boyfriend's particles are toxic and spreading. They turn every element they meet into versions of themselves, leaving behind a gray goo. So gross. Food is scarce. Terrorists have the know-how, and people are saying the world is ending. This might be my last entry before the biosphere is consumed. Talk to you later, I hope. On the bright side, our cultural heritage eludes the gray goo. Saved! On the dark side, nanu becomes the big catchphrase.
Nanu. For those of you who are too young, ask your parents. They probably watched Robin Williams.
Yep. Number 3, vacuum metastability love triangle.
Maybe we should start skipping some of these headlines because they don't make any fucking sense now.
Particle acceleration nation. This sounds like a more legit one. In an effort to study primordial matter, scientists use the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider.
Yeah.
The LHC in Europe. They eagerly smash protons together at lightning speed, similar to the way a child rams the vacant privates together of two reluctant dolls.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow. I don't know what to say.
Just oh wow. Anyway, the amount of energy required is, relatively speaking, staggering, and some fear a catastrophic chain reaction could create a black hole on the subatomic level, sucking us up, light and everything into it. Another proposed disaster includes the unintentional creation of a bizarre form of matter called strangulates, which would run into ordinary matter and promptly make it disappear. On the bright side, strangulates reminds you of sniglets, those hilarious words invented for common experiences. On the dark side, nanu equals death by strangulates. And number 1, guess what it is?
Ooh. I don't know.
Sun
Definitely.
supernova.
What?
Sun supernova is number 1 on this one.
Oh, so the sun explodes. Psh. We've already discussed how that's not going to happen right away.
Yeah.
Unless America decides to nuke it.
But
America! Fuck yeah!
But technically, getting a nuke that close to the sun, wouldn't the sun ignited in the atmosphere long before it ever made impact?
Pretty much, but we're America. We'll figure it. We'll find a way.
America! Fuck.
We build shit because we're bored.
The death of the sun appears to be the one sure thing on the list. In 5 billion years, our sun will enter a phase termed red giant, in which the sun will expand like a wavy lace line into the orbits of Mercury, Venus, and Earth. It then becomes extremely dense and can explode as a type of supernova. On the bright side, a court injunction regarding the name supernova prevents the sun from exploding. On the dark side, the sun chooses type La supernova and explodes anyway. But there we have it, a very long discussion about possible doomsday theories for the end of the world.
Though, my favorite is tomorrow. You know how the apocalypse is actually an old word for saying a great reveal?
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much what I imagine. It's just how we view the world is going to end.
Because of all the people going ape shit.
Or something, just something just like amazing amazing happens, something that we haven't been able to theorize yet. It just happens, and we look at it and we go, holy shit, this changes how we view the world and everything around it.
We're going to level up, essentially. We're going to unlock magic.
Ding!
Grants!
Or, my favorite, we find a way into parallel realities. Yes! We are going to be sliders. Yes!
The Slider Squad. Oh boy.
I like the theory of parallel realities. That's just awesome. Or, with parallel realities, they all converge into one.
Oh, that reminds me, since we're going on about all of this, did you ever hear the story about a guy named John Tedder?
No.
Or was it Tritter?
Tritter? Is this something you're going to have to look up now?
But basically what it was is a guy that was essentially trolling the internet by claiming to be a legit time traveler.
Oh. Okay.
It was funny because, apparently this guy put, a lot of shit into this as well before just randomly disappearing. Let's see here. Suicidal supernova? The fuck?
Suicidal supernova.
Yeah, I came across a list known as Scientific Doomsday, Way the Worlds Could Actually End.
We depress the sun so much it goes, fuck it. Boom.
Let's see here. The first one on the list is supervolcano.
Those are always fun.
Asteroid accident.
Yeah, supposedly, God. What the hell is that area in the Midwest? Yellowstone. That's a supervolcano that should supposedly be erupting soon.
Oh, really now?
Yep.
Let's see here. Then we got asteroid accident, comet collision.
An asteroid accident. An asteroid accident. Yeah, we kind of missed that one on the turn there. Sorry. If we exchange, insurance information.
Let's see here. This one's actually worth a little bit of a read. Some of that uncertainty comes from asteroids, the sometimes forgotten cousins, comets. Comets are made up of ice and dust, while asteroids are made up of rock and metals. Hartley 2 came within 11 million miles of Earth on October 20th, which was among one of the closest times a comet has gotten to Earth in centuries. Comets are especially dangerous because they are coming from farther distances at higher velocities.
Okay.
Comets zoom through space at almost 100,000 miles per hour and pick up speed due to Earth's gravitational pull. The faster an objective moves, the bigger the force it exerts on whatever it happens to hit, and the more energy it deposits. For Earth, that means more damage. For humans, it may spell out RIP. To add insult to potential injury, finding comets in the outer solar system is very difficult because these dirty snowballs are extremely dark. But when comets get within about 390 million miles from Earth, the sun heats comet's dark surface and starts to warm its icy interior, making it spew out the dust and gas that form its distinctive bright tails. Assuming astronomers develop the technology to discover earthbound comets further away than Jupiter, scientists might have about 10 years before a comet hit Earth in a worst-case scenario. But if there's a 10-kilometer, 6-mile hunk of ice and rock that's heading straight toward the Earth, he added, there aren't very many options there except to do the Bruce Willis thing and nuke it.
I was about to say that. We send Bruce Willis.
Algal apocalypse? What the fuck does that mean?
What?
Algal.
Algal?
Algal, something. ALGAL apocalypse.
Okay, what is that one?
Another big problem for Earth could come from a tiny source, according to Caltech geobiologist Joe Krishmanek. He raises the possibility that diatoms, a type of microscopic algae that inhabits moist surfaces, lakes, rivers, oceans, and soil, could alter Earth's atmosphere in a fatal way. These microbes live off fuel produced through photosynthesis, a process that converts light energy photons from the sun into an energy cell to use to function. Sugar. As they photosynthesize, diatoms break up water into hydrogen and oxygen other organisms can then use to breathe. But if mutant diatoms couldn't use water or other substances in the environment like iron or hydrogen, they might be tempted to pick salt, sodium chloride, off Earth's many molecules. These diatoms would release poisonous chlorine gas. Assuming the chlorine didn't kill them and nothing else limited their growth, diatoms would grow exponentially, setting off a death by inhalation doomsday. The damn thing could take the world over in a couple million years.
In a couple million years.
Yeah, so that's again outside of our life cycle. So, killer contagion.
Yeah, like super flu or something like that.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I see it listed here. I'm not reading it, but apparently the H5N1 virus.
Which one's H5N1?
That's a good question. Bird flu?
Oh, that's right. Got the bird flu.
Let's see here. And now we get to the one that we've been waiting for. Supernova.
Suicidal supernova.
Let's read this here.
We make the sun so depressed.
Supernovas are among the most powerful explosions in the universe and can rival the strength of a few octillion nuclear warheads, according to NASA. That's a bunch of warheads. These super booms come in two varieties: core collapse supernovas, which happens when a giant star's core collapses after 5 million to 20 million years of life, and type 1A supernovas, which occur when a white dwarf star detonates after its core gets too dense. In our galaxy, core collapse supernovas occur 2 to 4 times more frequently than type 1A supernovas, says astronomer Todd Thompson of Ohio State University. And in the Milky Way, a core collapse tends to happen every 100 years or so, he says. Luckily, most will happen at a safe distance of 5 to 10 parsecs. Getting into Star Wars terminology now. Or 16.5 to 33 light years. Wait, parsecs. That was from Star Wars, wasn't it?
It's a real measurement as well.
Yeah.
It's a measurement of distance.
I'm trying to... There was a sci-fi movie or show that used it heavily, though. I can't remember what it was.
Well, Star Wars did have a passing mention of it. It was pretty much George Lucas mixing up parsecs for a unit of time.
That's right. It was Star Wars. Okay. But anyways, or 16.5 to 33 light years away, too far to do any real damage. If supernovas occurred randomly throughout the Milky Way, Earth at 1 every billion years, but because they congregate near the Milky Way spiral arms, we would in fact expect to come within 10 parsecs of a supernova nearly every time we pass through a spiral arm, which is about every 100 million years. These stellar fireworks produce X-rays, cosmic rays, electrons, protons, and nuclei zooming through space at nearly the speed of light, and gamma rays, light waves so powerful they're capable of killing cells. A supernova's radiation would destroy the ozone in the atmosphere, increasing the amount of ultraviolet light that gets through. The UV flash could increase skin cancer rates, set off mass die-offs of bacteria and plankton, and precipitate another ice age.
So where does the suicide come in?
I have no idea. I saw absolutely nothing about suicide.
I guess it was them just, we'll make it catchy. It's not just a supernova, it's a suicidal supernova.
I guess. Let's see here. Orbital obliteration.
Just so they can get frickin' traffic.
I like this wording.
Wow.
Okay, changes in how the planets circle the sun could also knock out Earth. This is wording I like. Jupiter is the most massive planet in the sun's posse.
Okay.
I just like the wording of that for some reason. Okay.
The sun's got a posse.
Let's see here. I'm curious about this because it says right here, but in the worst case scenario, Mercury and Earth could collide.
Okay. I think Mars is closer, isn't it?
I was about to say, you think Venus or Mars would collide into us long before we ever hit Mercury.
I know. Mercury's the first planet in the list.
Yeah, and we're right here, and we've got Venus between us and Mercury.
And Mars is so much closer. What's going on?
Let's see here, Jupiter is as such it okay, starting back over here. Jupiter is the most massive planet in the Sun's posse. As such, it tugs at the orbits of the other planets over millions of years. The gaseous giant could bully tiny Mercury's elliptical orbit so much that the farthest distance it travels away from the sun increases, and the closest point gets closer. As Mercury's orbit stretches, the swift planet could crash into the sun, according to a 2008 study in the Astrophysical Journal. Alternatively, Mercury could cross Venus's orbit, and then there's a very short time until there's a real disaster, said UCSC astronomer Greg Laughlin. One of the study's authors, Venus and Mercury's kiss of death, he said, could eject Mars from the solar system. But in the worst-case scenario, Mercury and Earth could collide. The impact would destroy Earth, even though our planet has about 20 times the mass of Mercury. Thinking about orbits going unstable adds a little spice of danger to planetary science, Laughlin said. But there's only about a 1% chance any of these situations will pan out in the next 5 billion years. But it still didn't explain how Mercury and Earth could collide.
Well, it just... Jupiter is affecting the gravitational pull on all the planets? What?
That's what it says. As such, it tugs the orbit of the other planets over millions of years.
I don't know. That just seems a bit far-fetched there.
Okay, and the last one on the list, solar slaughter.
But then again, I'm not a scientist. I don't know jack about fucking gravity.
Hey, there's a cool name for a supervillain.
What?
Solar slaughter.
Solar slaughter.
Yes.
I am Solar Slaughter. All shall fear me and bow to my whims.
Huh. Even if the Earth dodges Mercury, the blue planet eventually will be turned into an oven by the sun, says NASA planetologist Chris McKay. Well, that's obvious. At some eventual point, the sun is going to cook our planet. Just a matter of when, not if.
Yeah.
As the sun burns, the hydrogen in its core converts to helium by fusion, a process through which the nuclei of atoms meld together. Fusion produces a tremendous amount of heat, so as time passes, the 5 billion-year-old star gets hotter and brighter. In about 1 billion years, scientists predict the sun will shine about 10% brighter than it does now. The extra energy will heat Earth to well over 200 degrees Fahrenheit. The oceans will boil off, the climate will collapse, and any kind of real estate won't be worth anything anymore, said astrophysicist Klaus-Peter Schroeder of the University of Guanajuato in Mexico. We'll have to look for a new planet. Those who don't want to leave home will have to hope that Schroeder's colleague, astronomer Robert Smith of the University of Sussex, is right. Smith suggests scientists may be able to enlarge Earth's orbit by manipulating asteroids visiting our solar system. Shifting the path of these rocky passerbyers so that they move in front of Earth should create a slight pull on the planet and help to speed it up. Earth's quicker pace would make its orbit slightly larger. If done enough times over millions of years, Earth's orbit could swell by about 5%, which would translate into about 10% less solar energy reaching our planet, Schroeder said. That may only buy the planet time, however. In about 7 billion years, Schroeder says, the sun will blow into a red giant, a much brighter and voluminous version of its current self. It will be so big that the Earth will be inside the sun, McKay said. In the meantime, unless Smith's orbital expansion works out, Earth will almost certainly cook and steam under the sun's powerful rays. Not that I'm a great believer, but credits need... Damn it, if I could speak proper English.
English.
Not that I'm a great believer, but credit needs to be given sometimes, Schroeder quipped. The Bible's predictions that we'll end up in an eternal fire are somewhat accurate. But anyway, I think we've dragged today's Doomsday podcast on long enough.
Oh, I don't know. We should probably keep going forever.
Nah, we gotta enjoy some of our own special time before the world ends. Come on now.
Oh, I've been masturbating this entire time. What are you talking about?
Well,
you know, I've been looking at Wookiee porn.
But anyway, today we gave you If it's an actual legit theory or just something created for this book, I'm not sure, but either way, it's a theory that's weird as hell. So you get to see a video on that, and you got to hear other interesting doomsday theories. So I guess with that, we'll start bidding you farewell. Wind, would you like to give our audience, or lack thereof, I should say, any parting words? And we'll end on that. Till next time.